children, people have babies that they need to feed, so it's everyone, anyone who has a need. If you're around and you have a need, we can help you.
How many towns do you service?
6.
6 towns, okay.
6 towns.
Yeah.
So, obviously most convenient for those of you who live here.
Yeah, exactly.
What towns?
Hamilton, Wenham, Ipswich, Topsfield, Manchester, and Essex. Right now.
Wow.
So.
Do any of those have food pantries as well, or no? Or are
Well,
they limited?
in Topsfield, they have a pantry that's in the basement of a church.
Yeah, and it's once a month, I think, and it's all canned food. They don't have any
They
fresh.
have no fresh food,
Yeah,
no
and
refrigeration or anything.
They actually bring us food often. They're very nice. So it's a limited,
Is it limited to the town though itself, or is it?
You know, I think it's just Topsfield, but I'm not sure because it's so small. I
Yes.
don't know the answer.
It's
Ipswich had a food pantry, or still does. It hasn't switched over yet. That was also in the basement of a church, all canned food. I do believe sometimes fresh produce, or often fresh produce, was brought in, but they didn't have refrigeration or freezers. But the Open Door out of Gloucester just took over a building in Agawam Village.
Yeah, they're building,
Thank you.
rehabbing a building at the Ipswich Housing Authority now to become a food pantry.
So,
So
Oh,
they'll
I
be
thought you
on
meant
site.
Open Door.
yeah.
I used to
Open-
go there when I lived in Gloucester.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
they're
nice.
So they will be overseeing, running, whatever the
Yeah.
word is, a pantry in Ipswich. So they will have more like we have as far as
Right.
refrigeration and protein choices and that sort of thing. And I believe Essex can go to Open Door in Gloucester, so they don't have one in there. And I believe Manchester can go to Beverly Bootstraps. I'm not sure how it all
Yeah.
overlaps.
can go to Gloucester.
Okay, thank you, so I might have them reversed. So, and someone out of those two can also go to Beverly. So, but only Hamilton and Wenham can only come here.
With special.
Yes.
The other thing you should know is that we do have a handicap ramp if you need to wheel up there, that's fine. And also if you need help getting out to your car, we have volunteers that would be more than happy to load up your car for you or help you carry your groceries, just so you know.
So,
But we'd love to see you. And don't be shy, and if you don't want to fill out anything today, like Stacy said, you can just show up on the day that we're open, and you're welcome to shop that day and fill out the paperwork, and then we'll have you signed up later.
And maybe we can take some applications back to the office and Jessica can help some people. If you want to go back to the office, she can help you as well.
right, yeah. And we're very aware of privacy, just because sometimes I know people go into a food pantry. All of our volunteers sign a privacy agreement, and there's no talking outside the pantry. So you don't have to worry about that.
Great. All right, are there any more questions? Excellent. Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
So where would you like to sit to
I'll go in the back.
sit in the back?
Yeah,
I'll come with you.
Okay.
I need glasses or I'll bet.
Excellent. So now I'll introduce again Lieutenant Scott James, and he can talk briefly about how to deal with neighborhood disputes, and then we can have some questions at the end. Okay?
Okay.
I want to thank Jessica and Kate for having me here today. There's 2 things I want to address. Number one, I just wanted to be here to talk to you that were available. The police department a lot of times will interact with different tenants here about some things are tenant issues and some things are police issues. So I just wanted to just talk about it. Hopefully we can get a couple of examples of different things we can talk about and how to mediate those issues. But first, I want to talk about 2 scams that are going on right now that are really targeting seniors in the community. One is the IRS scam, where a lot of people are getting calls
I've
saying,
gotten
so you're getting
I've gotten
calls.
it on my emails too.
Yeah, you're getting on your email or phone calls? Email?
Email.
Yeah. It's happening, and there's a couple ways it's working. People are calling up on the phone, and they might say, this is the IRS. You sent in your tax returns this year, and all I need is your social security number. We're going to confirm it, and then we're going to send you your tax refund back to you. So a lot of people are kind of falling for this because they did put their taxes in, they are expecting something, and they just don't hear anything again about it, and their tax return comes and everything goes on. What they don't realize is that you just gave up your social security number, so someone's gone, they already have some of your basic information, now they're opening up credit cards with a different address than yours, they're kind of assuming your identity, and eventually down the road, you're gonna go to buy something, or some credit collection agency's gonna start calling you. So anytime someone's asking you for information, I know we talk about this all the time, but make sure you don't give anything at all. I'm gonna pass out a couple of these sheets I get from the Federal Trade Commission. It kind of outlines the different kinds of scams we're dealing with right now. And on the back of it, it tells you how you can report it, or way to report it to the Federal Trade Commission. And they'll, like a lot of these numbers, people will come into the police department like, I have the number, you can catch the guy, right? You can trace the number. It's really not that easy, because a lot of these scams are starting overseas. They might be in a different country, and they're using internet-based numbers and all sorts of things to get in contact with you. And then they're asking you to wire money. As soon as you wire money, anytime anyone asks you to wire money, be extremely, extremely suspicious of that. Because the second you go down to CVS or one of the big food chain stores and you wire the money, it's gone. There's no way to trace that back, and usually it's gone overseas. And you see these scams also with Craigslist. If someone will put something, a deal that's too good to be true on Craigslist. One of the ones we dealt with is someone was selling this a small like tractor, and they said, geez, I have to sell this right away. Someone in my family passed away, we need money. So people are attracted to this, and we want to buy different things on Craigslist. They said, you need to send me some money right now, reserve it. Now, it's probably, the one I'm thinking of, it was about half of what it should cost. So the person puts down $1,500, $2,000, and then they start trying to contact them on the email, and there's no more response. But once you wire the money, it's all gone. The other scam we're getting right now, we were talking just before we assembled the meeting, we were talking about it, is this scam where people are calling you on the phone, and it's an imposter scam. They're saying, I'm your grandson or your granddaughter or cousin, and I've been, the one we had last week, we had it twice. We had 2 reports of it, which means it's probably even much more widespread throughout the community. We had 2 people that were concerned about it. Someone called up and said, I'm your grandson. I was down in New York City. I was in a car accident. I got arrested for drinking too much. I need money to get out of here. Oh, Connie. And so on both these cases, both these people were smart enough to say, it just didn't sound really quite right. So they came to the police department, or one person was at the bank talking to them, and they're like, it sounds like a scam. They're trying to get them to wire some bail money. Most people, I think if someone in my family called up, I'd say, geez, I'll do whatever I can for you. So these are the 2 scams that are going around right now. I really, really want to, I'm going to pass some information around it, but if anyone calls asking you to wire money, personal identification, I'm the IRS, just please be alert of it. Please also report to the police department, because we keep track of that. And if, like I talked about the one scam, the IRS scam, if you did give your information away, in order to correct it later on, you're going to have a police report number on it if you did give your social security number away. And some people are embarrassed to say, oh, I can't believe I did this. But it happens to everyone. It happens to everyone. Yes?
I just thought I'd share that one time I got an email, and it was supposedly Janet,
Oh, yeah.
my neighbor,
That was,
Right.
asking for $1,200 because she got put in jail.
That's exactly,
Oh my
yeah, they just do
God.
the same scam
That
on the
scam
internet.
came
That's-
from
Yeah.
I got one too,
They do
yeah.
it all the time.
I never
Yeah.
even knew about
But
that.
see, you're more alert of it, which is great, which is awesome.
Well,
The
it's
other-
nice to see you out of jail.
I also had one that went all over the State House, that I was in Nigeria and I lost my purse.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That was
I got one about my
so
granddaughter,
embarrassing.
yeah.
Some of the countries that you see these scams come from is a country like Nigeria, which has like, it's going to be an English colony, so it has the English-based education system. So the English, if you're reading the email, you might see a couple, it's going to be fairly close, but it might be a couple of words off.
Yes.
That's where a lot of these internet scams are coming from.
Can I make a comment on that?
Oh, certainly.
On the email scams, what I've discovered, okay, is if you run your highlighter on who sent it, it's not going to be the person's name that's showing up.
Oh, cool.
So it took me a long time to figure that out.
That's
And,
great, that's a great point.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the other, I know a lot of you use the internet a lot too. You're worried about viruses, everyone runs like a virus protection. Never open a zip file. If you see it says zip on it,
Oh,
you don't know who it's from, that's going to it's not most likely, but it's very high possibility that it could be a virus. If it says zip on it, if you don't know who the sender is, that's where we see most of the real attack viruses, those encrypto viruses and all that stuff are coming from. Okay, the other reason I'm here today is just to talk about different issues we have. I know sometimes we're all living in close quarters. Sometimes someone's a little too loud. They might call the police for us to come down on it. There might be certain issues. Some people are up late at night. Some people go to bed earlier. Are there any problems like that we can talk about, and maybe someone can get some examples of when you should call the police or when we shouldn't call the police? Yeah.
I would just like to know, when is it disturbing the peace? What hours is it disturbing the peace, and what hours is it not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Well, it's called like the prudent person standard. If it's unreasonable at a certain amount of time, that would be disturbing the peace. If it's creating a disturbance to a public place. There is a noise bylaw though, which goes from 7 in the morning to 9 at night. So if your neighbor across the street, which I don't, they seem like nice people, I'm not but if they start up a chainsaw and a wood chipper at like 9:15 at night, that's not appropriate. They really shouldn't even be doing that late. Or if someone comes out at 5 o'clock in the morning and they're going to get a head start, cleaning up the yard, and they're running lawnmowers and stuff, that would be a violation of the bylaw. But I think we're talking about issues in here where, you're talking about noise with different neighbors inside?
Anything.
Anything like that?
Anything like that.
Noise, I think sometimes can be such a big problem too, because even like at nighttime too, like, I don't know, like with kids and things like that, and, just running up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
and banging the walls, doing this kind of, like, what do you do? I don't want to call anybody, or, other people might not want to call anybody for like a little thing like that, but if it goes on for like a couple hours.
It goes on for a couple hours, you should, it's funny in policing, the calls that we deal with the most, we call them like quality of life issues, like kids tagging at the train station, people being too loud. And a lot of it, the police, we don't go down and enforce laws, we go down and try to mediate issues like that. Our first step is always, I know sometimes we don't always like our neighbors, most people we do, but usually I find unless people are, butting heads, usually if you talk to someone and just say, hey, this is one thing that's really bothering me at a certain time, usually you can communicate with them. I think that's the best way, just talking to someone, just talk to your neighbor about, this is kind of bugging me. Certainly, if it's something that's going on and on, like someone's having a party, or you're suspicious that like something, there's loud music, you think someone might be injured or anything like that, please call the police, because we're always going to respond. We're not going to not respond down to any calls you have. We're always going to be here. And any other examples of things that are going on here that we can help out with the police? Or
Peeping Toms.
Peeping
there was an issue, a complaint here a couple of years back.
It's going on again, I just can't catch them.
Especially if you're on the second floor.
Yeah.
I'm on the first floor.
No.
If you're happy,
Can't
there's
say
two
I'm
ways
being
to enforce
facetious.
that. There are two laws to enforce that with. One is a general disturbing the peace. The town also has a bylaw, which is like a law the town puts into place, which is a little different. It's not as effective as a state law. It is as effective, but it's usually a civil disposition. If you're suspicious of a person, you're having continued problems. Now to me, that's much more serious if someone's trying to peek in your windows than if someone's making a little too much noise and you can't really hear them. That's something that really the police should be involved in.
Right.
Well, I reported it.
Yeah, I remember one time, so I am familiar with your case.
I had a witness,
Yeah.
but nothing could be done for some reason.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
so
encourage you to
know he's still doing it.
If you see anything like that again, please let us know, because we'll definitely take care of it.
I'm
We'll take
trying to
action
catch
on it.
him, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
What about like, not that it's happened to me or anything, but just to bring it up for everybody else, like if they have a car or vehicle damage and stuff like that, obviously you want to report it to the police, but how much time do you have to report it? Is it within 24 hours?
Okay, yeah, if you
or-
get in a car crash, you're asking
No,
me,
like
or
if
something?
say someone damages someone's car out in the parking lot and they
Oh,
report it, like do you have?
Yeah, the sooner
you have to do it
the
within-
better. And typically, if we get car break-ins, usually it's not just one. Usually it's a whole area. Someone's going around at night,
Keying cars.
breaking in, looking
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
money,
Like
laptops, things like that.
No.
Okay.
You're just talking about you got some vandalism with your car.
Yeah. Like if someone.
We have a lot of
I
kids in
kind of bring it
our,
up to everybody, just so everyone knows. I mean, I know I'm
Yeah.
not the only one that has a car, but I know like kids come by and.
we have a lot of kids up
We
there.
have a lot
Patty
of
and I are in the
kids
same
in the neighborhood,
neighborhood, so.
Yeah.
There's two ways to,
I can't prove anything, so
Yeah.
that's why I haven't said anything, but.
Well, there's two ways to look, car crashes have to be reported in 7 days, but vandalism, report it as soon as you're
Yeah.
aware of it. I would, right now, we stepped up our program about 5 years ago, we carry cameras in all the cars, we'll come out and take a picture. Maybe we don't have someone right now, maybe a month down the road, we get some kids that are, we get them, we talk to them, they admit to doing other cars, we'll have pictures of it and stuff like that. We have a great records management system, so the officers can take a picture on the road of vandalism to your car. When they go back to the police station, they can just paste it right into electronic reports and be there forever, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes?
That's what insurance companies are saying, that if you can get a picture as soon as you notice,
Right.
and just email it to your insurance company unless you don't want to, or just to the police department.
I know, and everyone has a camera now. If you told me 20 years ago, everyone when I started, or a little longer than that when I started policing, that everyone in the country is going to be walking around with a GPS in their pockets, you can locate them, I never would have believed you, but it's really come to be the case right now. And, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot speak English as the other people here. We are not natives. So excuse me if I didn't express clear enough. I speak mainly to give my wife as her interpreter, but I'm not qualified for interpreter. I just to speak something for her, try my best, but I have almost nothing to do involved in this kind of things.
Right, well, I talked to you on the phone, I have some reports,
Mhm.
and I translated them into Mandarin. for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we can, afterwards, it'll take us a while to look at them, after we finish the meeting, you and I can sit down and
Okay.
we'll talk about that. 'Cause,
Okay. I
yeah,
just
Mr. Wang had some reports about stuff that happened a while ago, he contacted me and wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, and maybe we could talk a little bit about, I know we get a lot of the calls about loud noises during the day, because everyone has different schedules, and this is senior housing, and a lot of the time people like their peace and quiet during the day. So just what sort of noises you should call the police for, not between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Right.
That it is acceptable for people to be watching TV and things like that during the day.
Yeah, certainly, I mean, people are going about their normal routine, they're cooking food, they're watching television, they're coming and going, they're going to a doctor's appointment early in the morning, those are all normal noises. Sometimes we might not like it, I mean, my neighbor, they're awesome people, but they get up real early in the morning, it doesn't bother me, but they came and said to me when I first moved into the neighborhood, they're like, well, welcome to the neighborhood, we leave really early in the morning. We're gonna try to be quiet, I go to work or whatever, but it's kind of like that, trying to work with the neighbors, but routine noises throughout.
me that when upstairs neighbor
Yeah,
come to knock her door and even rushing and turning off his.
no, people, okay, we're talking two different things here, okay? If your neighbor comes and talks to you, I would try to work with them and say, I'll try to turn the TV down a little low or something, but people can't come into your apartment unless they're invited in.
Right.
Unless you have agreements with maintenance doing things like that. So if someone's coming in trying to turn your TV off, that's when you should be calling the police.
Right.
Because we're gonna come down and bend down. Okay, you're entitled to your privacy. But there are certain noises throughout the day, like we're talking about televisions now. Some people have this like hearing impairment, they might listen to it a little louder, unless it's really blaring. I mean, we live in close quarters here, it's something you're gonna have to just kind of accept and deal with. Yes?
Hi, I didn't really have too many experiences in my life with apartment living. So I think what we're dealing with here is just close quarters apartment
Exactly.
living. And people thinking seniors are sleep.net, they think they're sleeping and quiet all the time. And actually, some people are really more active than others. So there is a real problem in these buildings, which we can't solve unless people are willing to put rugs and pads down on the second floor, which would insulate for sound. But there is a real substantial problem. If you're a person who has allergies and you have only wood floors, then believe me, you can hear conversations between floors. And I think if people knew that and had some respect for that, they wouldn't want their own conversations overheard. So when you're just talking in a normal voice, like if I tried to talk like this, I know my voice is going through the floor. And especially if someone doesn't have a rug, and they cannot have a rug for various reasons.
Right. No, I think that's a great point, and that's one of the issues here. I mean, you can hear it right here. She can hear people talking back and forth, and she doesn't have the option. I know in some other cases we've talked to tenants and stuff where they have been putting matting down and different kinds of rug to help keep it. But if you have someone walking above you, you're going to hear it even with the matting. It's just from living, as you so nicely said, it's just in close quarters. You're going to have certain things, and it's better to try to mediate these things and get along with people. But certainly, if someone's coming into your apartment at night trying to do something like that, if something's in the middle of the night, it's really loud. You know, like I said, we're using examples of things outside. Those are just the noise complaints to call the police. But also, if you have anything suspicious or out of the ordinary, if you see something strange or out of the ordinary, please call us. We're always going to come down. We might tell you it's an issue you need to address through Jessica or Kate's office, or we might take action on it. But we will always come down. We have, the way we're set up in our police structure is we always have someone in this area of town to respond down to this area, from the downtown area going up to Highland Street.
Yeah, both of them did very good. Kate and Jessica did very good. Not for us. We are neighbors. Where relationship is very important for us to live here, peace and quiet. We should understand this is not the private building. This is a public building. Even you live in your own house, the upstairs noise will involve will trouble the bottom, the downstairs. If we did something in the ground floor, we'll make them they maybe also heard. So we try our best to adjust ourselves, and we'll ask the other persons to understand each other.
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do here. I think you've made you had some noise issues. You're trying to move televisions and things like that. So you were making some good attempts trying to quiet things down, which is what we're really trying to do here today.
Yeah, we try our best to get the voice and the smoke to meet with the public needs, but some people still claimed to the call 911 one time, 2 times, 3 times, and every time your office come here, you check, oh, you are okay, you are fine, don't worry.
Right.
But still complain about that.
Well, we're not.
And ask us, why don't you use a earphone?
And I think that's why we are having Lieutenant James here today, just so that we can emphasize that there are some things that maybe we can talk to our neighbors about, and if you don't feel comfortable talking to them, we can talk to them. You don't always just have to call the police. You know, they have a very important job, and they have a lot of important issues that they need to address. Certainly, if you ever think someone's in trouble or something suspicious is happening, or after those hours there's disturbing noises, you can call them and they will come and help you out. But thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it. And let's see.
Thank you, Scott.
The problem is not only
And Patty, if you have any problems, just let me know.
Thank you.
So we will now welcome up.
Radio going. And we have a good time right here.
She'll remember this guy.
Yeah, Bobby, he showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Do you remember where this was?
All right, so now we have Amanda Newport.
This almost looks like, where is this? It's not a break, we have another speaker.
I think so.
Yeah. We have another speaker.
Okay.
Excuse me?
I just wanted to get your attention just for a quick second. Kate informed me of this meeting very late last week. So I'm here from from the Open Door, which is based in Gloucester, and I am with the SNAP program, or what we refer to as food stamps. I'm wondering if most people are familiar with the food stamp program. If you know, if you don't know, come talk to me afterward. But we are setting up, hopefully, here.
Yep, here in Lamson Hall.
We're at least once a month to take applications in the Hamilton Wenham area. Normally, it's outside of our service area, but there seems to be a need. So we want to make ourselves available for people who might be interested. The other piece of the food stamp thing that you should be aware of is that the guidelines had changed a little bit recently, so people who may have tried before and found themselves not eligible may be eligible at this point. So if you felt discouraged and didn't get benefits before, you might now. And also, we would like people to feel that they can come and have what we call a SNAP checkup, just to make sure that you're getting the benefits that you're entitled to. And also that it may include, if you, for example, if you have more medical need than you had when you first applied and your over-the-counter expenses are more, that we can now include that. So it might increase your benefit. So I think we're going to be setting up in March, and we'll have to let you know at a later date. It will probably be the third week in March that we'll have someone, myself or my other advocate here, to assist people. And I hope you take advantage of it.
Do you know, can you give us an idea of what may have changed with it? Is it income level?
Yeah, the income level has
it increased?
It increased.
Yeah. So I would recommend anyone who's getting food stamps or is interested to visit with Normanda, just in case you might be eligible for more money. So just get that looked at.
Also, I have a bunch of business cards that I'll leave up here for you, because sometimes people would just rather talk about it over the phone or privacy. So, and I'd be more than willing to take a call from anybody. And also, I think at some point we will probably do the once a month by appointment. Okay. So. But I'll have to refer to you to put that in a newsletter, or we can put a sign up here as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Feel free to stay and drink some coffee, and we'll give everyone their gift baskets on the way out.
I'd like to make a comment while everyone is here. I'm trying to put together getting internet in this building. So Verizon sent me a card, and they have 100 upload and download speed, which is very high. And so I'm trying to put, there's no contract, and it will cost on the card $69. We know it's more than that. So if people want to chip in for 3 months and test this out, $10. We could go through the office and they could pay the bill, but we want to try to see if this is something that we could have, because I have a large screen TV, which is internet TV, so we could have a meeting or you could watch a movie on it. And I brought my computer. I was going to set it up to show people. If there's Wi-Fi in the area, my computer will work a lot, and I'm willing to do some classes. It won't be like constant, but upon request. If people would like some classes, have questions about the internet. I think I know more than the average person, but I'm totally not. I'm not, a know-it-all. Okay. I just act like it. Thank you.
So you want to come up and hand out the gift basket?
Sure. So Accord is also giving out everyone here a gift box, and they're going to break up now and end the meeting. This is Catch of the Day Video News.